Alright guys, how's it going? I'm standing up for this one because I'm just going to jump straight on in. So this week we've got a big complex on the rings, building great strength and a bit of fun and flair on the rings, so building strength for that ring muscle up. Hair on my glasses, not good. In my latest video, most recent gymnastics one, the intro video, a lot of you guys were asking me what was that movement I did on the rings where I'm up on top of the rings and I do a forward roll and I end up back on top of the rings in that support position. Asking me what it was and how you do it, and it's actually a movement that I've included in this week's gymnastics programming as part of that rings complex. The main part today is going to be testing yourself, because like, when was the last time you even did a forward roll on the floor? Never mind on some rings. Alright, so it's going to be testing yourself, learning how to do that forward roll. So that ring complex is going to be 1 false grip chin up, 1 strict muscle up, 1 forward roll on the rings, 5 ring dips, and then 1 9-second muscle up negative. Now, I know what you might be thinking already straight away, right? I can't even do a false grip hang, never mind a false grip chin up. I certainly can't do a strict muscle up, so I can't do this workout. Yes, you can. You can always do these workouts. This is why I always include scales and progressions for you to be working on every single part of these movements, okay? I will go over the progressions in a moment once we've talked about that forward roll, but basically you're just utilizing your feet. Basically you're going to use a toe spot on the floor, having the ring set low so that you can still perform all those movements, but just with a little support from your legs. Once we've warmed up, we're going to start going through the forward roll progressions. So assuming all is good, what we can do is set a bar up in the rack first. It's a more stable position and you can basically rest on the bar to start learning your forward rolls. So set the bar up in the rack, tie it on with bands as always, especially now you're forward rolling. We don't want the bar to come off the rack. Just hop on, so you're trying to get the crease of your hips on that bar. Okay, from there just take your head forward, up, over and down. You're not trying to get back on top of it just yet, just get the crease of the hip on. Take your time, you can keep your legs on as much as you need to and just bend at the hips and then up, over, hold on tight. It's a bit of a weird thing if you're not used to going over, or you just don't like going upside down, or you know, like I said, you've not done it for so many years, you'll be like, I really don't like this. You might not, you might just go for it, yeah, but if you are, it's fine. But this is why we're doing it now on the bar, to build confidence. Once you're happy on the bar, what you can try and do is get yourself back on top of the bar, back to that top support position. What you might find is, as you're first doing it, you're just sort of teasing your way over and then you come down and then you drop to your feet and your bum. That's fine. As you get more confident with it, just go into it with a bit more sort of aggression, I guess, like throw your head into it and then build that speed, keep that position tight, and then you'll end up back on top of the bar. Again, that's a bit of a strength thing as well as having the balls to throw your head over, I guess. But like being able to pull yourself up and on top of the bar, a little bit of a strength thing. Have a go. So assuming those bar progressions are all good and we're pretty happy with that, confident with it, we're going to move on to the rings. Your first progression is just a ring support. Jumping on the rings, elbows locked out, press your scaps down and just lock those elbows out. Try and hold that nice tight hollow position. That's going to be a good indicator as to how much strength you've got, if you can support your body weight there. If not, what you can do is do a toe spot, set the rings lower, toe spot, basically still just have your feet on the floor, but try and find that strong position, elbows locked out, and try and just take as much weight as you can on your arms without bending at the elbows, but just having a little toe spot on the floor. Next progression from there is going to be from that support position, just bring the knees up, so it's almost like a tuck L sit on the rings. You might find the rings wobble about a bit, so squeeze those elbows in nice and tight, keep pressing into the rings, get the knees up. Moving on from that progression there, if that's all good, all I want you to do from here is just begin to lean into the rings. So once you've brought the knees up, you're going to just start to slowly send your shoulders forward and your hips through, just to about sort of parallel as you come over with the shoulders and the hips in line. So the next progression from there, we've practiced the support hold with the knee tuck, and then we've got used to just leaning in and finding that sort of pivot point. If that is all good, before we just try and flip over, what I tend to do from there is go into like a German hang position. So you get the rings almost behind you and you drop down to your knees. Make sure that you're almost just sort of straight underneath the rings. If you're a bit in front of the rings and the straps are like this, when you try and kick through, it's going to swing you back. So all you're going to do is just drop straight down, flip up, and just try and get to inverted first. So literally just kick through, hold, upside down, and then control yourself back through. As you start getting confident with that, just kick through, a bit more speed, and then pull into the rings, try and pull yourself up to where you're almost doing like a chin up pull. And that might be where a lot of guys sort of stick to those progressions for now. Before you try and move on to that forward roll on the rings, I would suggest you maybe get a friend, get a spotter, set up a mat below like I've done there, just in case, like if you want to try it, okay? That's on you, not me. But if you have a spotter there with you, they can always like help you through, one hand on your legs, and bring you over. So that is the next progression, going straight for that forward roll. So all those same progressions now. Support hold, bring the knees up, start to pivot. If you've got a spotter, they'll grab you on the leg, one on the upper back, tease you over, and then as you go, one hand on the lower back to support your weight coming through. You'll pull into the rings, come down, forward roll on the rings, happy days. If you haven't got a spotter, be confident with it, give it a try. You just tease over, find that pivot point, and once you've gone from there, bring the hips up, tuck the chin, over. As you come over, pull into those rings, happy days. What you want to work on now is that false grip. So you need to keep your false grip in as you go over into the roll, so that when you turn the wrists out and you pull yourself back over, that the false grip's in so that you can pull yourself up, over and back on top of the rings. If you lose that false grip, which is the main problem here that people have, is just having the false grip strength. It's a strength thing. You might be like, I don't really get it, I'm not feeling it. It is 100% a strength thing. False grip strength, and then the strength to basically do a strict muscle up to get yourself through. If you haven't got a strict muscle up, you might struggle with this. If your false grip strength's pretty poor, you might struggle with it. Something you've just got to work on, and it'll get better. So the false grip is getting the wrist on the rings rather than that neutral grip, meaning that as you turn over, your wrist is pretty much already on top of the ring, rather than it being underneath and just not having the ideal angle to get up and over on the rings. And those are your progressions. So you've got your bar rolls, your support hold, support with a knee tuck, German hang and roll, and then if that's feeling good, the full sort of forward roll on the rings, and then adding in the false grip, trying to get back on top of the rings to the support position. So then you've got two options. If you manage to do all of those progressions, end up back on top of the rings and press out with ease, then you might be able to go for that full on the high rings, that full complex as is. If not, your other option is to utilize that toe spot on the floor. So we'll go over that again quickly. Toe spot, you'll do false grip, pull up, you'll do your transition. Now you'll have two options there. Forward roll if you've got it. If not, once you've done your transition and pressed out, I want you to come back to that German hang position, jump through, do your forward roll there, reset, and then hit your dips. On the high rings, you've seen it as it is. Give it a go. You've done all the progressions now. It's just piecing it all together, whether you've got the strength to be able to do the pull, the transition, the forward roll, and to be able to get back on top. It's almost like 3 pulling reps. So if you fatigue naturally, say you've only got one strict false grip muscle up, you might struggle to put the 3 together. Do your best. It's just going to be wherever you're at with those progressions. And don't get disheartened with it. I think I've taught this class 3 times this week, and there wasn't actually one person who could do it as it was. All right, so that's fine. Don't stress about it. There wasn't one person that could do the whole progression. I make it difficult so that people can almost see what they should be working towards to try and achieve. The gold standard isn't a ring muscle up. It should be progress. So all those same progressions now. Support hold, bring the knees up, start to pivot. If you've got a spotter, they'll grab you on the leg, one on the upper back, tease you over, and then as you go, one hand on the lower back to support your weight coming through. You'll pull into the rings, come down, forward roll on the rings, happy days. If you haven't got a spotter, be confident with it, give it a try. You just tease over, find that pivot point, and once you've gone from there, bring the hips up, tuck the chin over. As you come over, pull into those rings, happy days. If they're not, don't force them into it, just sort of, right, cool, no worries, that's where you're at with it. But yeah, as always, it helps to have, you know, a friend or two to help you out. Awesome guys, so that's it. I hope that sort of give you some cool little ideas on how to progress into those movements and just give you something fun, new and different to work on. And as always, click that like button if you took something away from this video. Feel free to click the subscribe button below, and that will just always notify you when one of these workouts is released. Have fun with it guys. That is all for this week. I'll see you soon. Thank you.